Hello everyone, it's me. I'm back. I had to come back with another reading because, of course, I'm exploring my new cards and I got curious. I said, I want to see what else is going on. And right as I picked up the deck, one card fell out. And the card that fell out was Gilligan's Island. Now, if you listen to my previous videos, I just mentioned in my solar eclipse reading in Libra, new moon, I believe it was part 1, that Gilligan's Island, although it hadn't shown up as I was shuffling, it did, however, the theme song of that show was showing up. And of course, it applied to the reading at the moment. But right now, when I was considering starting a different reading and that card comes out, it's like, okay, so here you go, Gilligan's Island. And I'm like, okay, we had established that Gilligan's Island is a person that feels that they're surrounded by unfamiliar people and that they're kind of like needing to adapt to this new condition or life or sense of feeling isolated, but with a group of people that now you have to adapt with or something like that, okay? And then the strangest thing is it gives me very personal synchronicities. So you might, it kind of gave me a little bit of a freak out in a weird way, because it's kind of like, oh my God, this is like, ew, okay? But it's like realizing that you do have a connection with an ex on a psychic level that is possibly a life path 9, okay? And then he says, why are you surprised? And then it's like, it's tea time. So it's like, oh God, all right. So it's like, that question that you were asking, like what is this? Why, what does this message keep showing up? And then you get that it has to do with this person, possibly a life path 9, asking, are you surprised? Or why are you surprised? You should have known, that we have this connection. So why are you surprised? It's just like interesting how the synchronicities are like right in your face, right? It's tea time. And it has to do with the base chakra, your first chakra. And it says time to upgrade, straight from the horse's mouth. And then it says extracurricular activities. Previously, that same reading that we did earlier, extracurricular activities, was kind of giving a double entendre sort of vibe, okay? Like it meant something a little bit kind of like curious, like, what's really going on? And then it says, if I can have you. So this person may feel somewhat possessive of you or may have felt possessive, and they're in suspense right now. There's something to do with positive vibes being charged, okay? Or charging, or positive vibes, charge. I don't know if it's like, this person that you have this connection with, that is what, I don't want to say it's humorous to them, but the message is going to get to them, and it's going to make the connection that you have in the psychic realm very evident in the physical realm, where neither can pretend that it's not there. And the thing is, you weren't pretending, they were just blocking, okay? And they were blocking a lot of your connection to them. And you were very accurate in what your connection was and a lot of the things that you knew and all the things, but they didn't let you in, basically, at some point. And now, straight from the horse's mouth, this connection is being kind of like shown to you. So they're in sort of suspense, planning on taking a road trip, a flight, or a cruise. And then it says facts of life. So facts of life has to do with a show. It was a group of girls that were living in in a like a private school, and then they had the house mother lady that would take care of them, and she was like a mentor, parent, caregiver, whatever she was. She just took care of these girls, and their school was on it was like a private school, so it was on campus. I don't know what in fact the facts of life have to do with this reading, to be quite honest. I'm trying to see what the correlation might be. But it's possible that this could have been like maybe he was a principal of the schoolhouse, something like that, or something like it's something to do with like a home school. And with the Gilligan's Island, it could be that maybe the home life of this person has different residents. And I think that the message can get very specific, I think on purpose, so that it's almost like solidified in the reality. I see what it's like. Two people can see eye to eye and say, yeah, we both see what we see, something like that. And maybe that's just facts of life or something. And then the Tudors shows up. As we know, the show The Tudors is based on the Tudor dynasty of King Henry VIII. And King Henry VIII had 6 wives. So the first one, it was like he married, beheaded, deceased, married, beheaded, survived, something like that. And maybe leaving like a trail of history with women, bad relationships, tyrannical rulership, also the rulership that has to do with, I think King Henry VIII was a Cancerian, if I'm not mistaken, possibly. But he was known to be quite gluttonous. So maybe something with gluttony has to do with this energy. But then it also says great performance. So it's almost like you're giving this person the acknowledgement, and they're giving you the acknowledgement in some way. Like in some ways, it was like a great performance, almost like acknowledging, like, oh, okay, you knew that I saw right through you, and all that time denying that I saw what I saw. Now it's like obvious, visible in your face that it's there. Okay, so great performance. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, the deceit or the withholding of the information. It's like, it was a performance, right? Because it wasn't real. It was fake. It was like acting the whole time. It wasn't real. So something to do with giving like kudos for great performance. It's not really like, oh, you're so talented. No, it's great. You're great at lying. Okay, so that's a great talent, I guess, if you want to, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Then the last card we have is Rachel from Friends. And Rachel from Friends, she was very, she starts off in the show as being kind of like a spoiled brat, right? And kind of airheaded. Kind of like spoiled by daddy. And early in the show, I mean, that's just the part that we don't see of her life. But then when she arrives to the show, she's running away from her marriage, from her wedding, not her marriage, from her wedding. And she shows up in the cafe where her old friend is there and her friend's friends are there. So she's in distress because she basically like got out of the matrix, or she basically rebelled against the authorities over her. She followed her heart. She didn't do the thing that they expected her to do. She did what she needed to do, like to liberate herself, to free herself from just freeing herself from doing what is expected of her or what people think that she's supposed to be doing. And that's, she was willing to be cut off financially. She didn't initially, she fought it. She was very bratty initially. But regardless, the development of her character had a lot to do with becoming very independent and finding what her passion was and doing whatever was necessary. Initially, she worked at the cafeteria until she found her dream job. So it's like really going after her dreams. And even the perfect partner that she believed she had in Ross, that for so long they weren't together. She just accepted they were just friends. And at the last episode, I believe, they end up together, okay? Like, they decide to be together. So something to do with that energy is maybe that would have been the ideal ending to the story, perhaps. You know what I mean? Like, and they lived happily ever after. But there's this heart chakra activation here. The color green could be significant. The home could be significant. I feel like you are a fine dining experience when it comes to your love language. Yeah, we have Ross here in reverse. I'm kind of getting like this story has an alternate ending, okay? Numbers could be significant. And entity attachment could have been the issue. Could have been dependency. And something to do with life path 7 and the third eye chakra. So the color indigo could be significant. Life path 7 has to do with like spiritual lessons and spiritual connections and, just spiritual in nature. And there could have been something in terms of abuse of the third eye chakra with this dependency and entity attachment. I feel like there was a sort of dependency on your gifts, and that dependency had to do with this entity attachment. Look at the numbers that repeat themselves and see perhaps another perspective on this dynamic. Because despite the fact that this person now opened their heart to you or now feels like the love of your energy, right? There was some sort of the fact that things were hidden. Okay, and I think it had a lot to do with, we have Prue and Andy from Charmed. So you might have been seen like a witch by this individual, okay? This person, you had fond memories with them. It's almost like you grew up together, or you felt familiar. You felt like this could have been your best friend too, like it felt very like you trusted this person very much. The thing is that when you transformed, when you tapped into your powers and your gifts and your magic, this person remained in their 3D reality. This person wouldn't really understand the level of responsibility that you were being faced with, or the level of spiritual battles that you were experiencing, okay? And why it was necessary to keep him protected or out of the loop of that also, possibly. That was that sense that Prue had with Andy. And Andy was a police officer. He was a cop. He was always very suspicious of Prue, always kind of thought the worst, but he had a reason to assume the worst. It's like she wasn't telling him the truth, but it had to do with this truth, this was a bigger truth than what he was privy to. And it was like by spiritual law, it wasn't her place to tell him, or it would seem so. Okay? So I feel like this person is going through an air initiation. Okay? And then the song Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. So air initiation could be the signs of Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, okay? But it's like a mental initiation, the initiation of the mind. This person might have been very suspicious. They had a very controlling nature, possessive nature, and they wanted to possess you, and you had a bigger purpose with your life, and the fact that you kept a certain aspect of yourself personal or private made this person very suspicious. And the song is, we're caught in a trap, I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me? When you can't believe a word I say, we can't go on together with suspicious minds. Okay, so that's probably why the dynamic ended in the first place, because it was too much suspicion, too much suspense, and too much of extracurricular activities, okay, with that base chakra. I think it was like too much playing around behind your back in regards to your security, matters of securities, okay? And then I got with Ice Cube, you can do it, put your back into it. I feel like this person kind of put you in a position to put more effort than they were putting. They were very cold-hearted because they abused the spiritual connection. And the spiritual connection was not taken very seriously by this person. And now that the mind matters, now that this person is getting clarity, and now that they're going through this mind initiation, they're seeing all their 50 shades of gray. A masquerade ball, the Count of Monte Cristo. This cannot even... the masquerade ball. This person had many, many facades, okay? 50 shades of gray. They had a lot of darkness. They had a lot of... they were very vengeful. They felt at some point betrayed by you. In the Count of Monte Cristo, Dantes is imprisoned by his supposed best friend, and he's put in a tower, and for years he's in the Chateau d'If. And while he's there, he's avenging or plotting his revenge. This masculine might have been innocent and may have been imprisoned. This could have been spiritual, okay? Not necessarily physically. But they felt imprisoned, and they blamed you, Divine Feminine. You married his best friend, or now, again, this doesn't have to be quite literal, but in that story, in the way that he sees the story, it's like you abandoned him for his best friend. The thing is that you had his child, but you didn't know he was dead, or you didn't know that he was alive. He was dead. To you, he was dead. You moved on. You did what you had to do, and you had a new life. And so when he comes back, he wants to avenge the whole family, not realizing that that was his son. And even though in the movie he ends up with the wife and the child and all of that, the book is a whole different story. So, and I think that the point of this reading here is that some stories maybe were meant to have a perfect ending, or we would love it if they had a perfect ending, but the endings are altered sometimes, right? For suspense, or they're altered, but it is what it is. Those are the stories. And so the alteration of this story and what happened in this story was the mask and all of that, the 50 Shades of Grey. What they're realizing is that it would have been a nice ending if Rachel and Ross would have ended up together after the betrayal and the infidelity and all of that. That they realize at the end that they are so very much soulmates, right? And soulmates doesn't always equate to marriage in the end, like that, perfect story. So it shows that some endings get dramatized, like in The Count of Monte Cristo. He goes off, he gets his revenge, and he gets his lady and his kid, and off he goes into the sunset, with the perfect life. But no, in this case, in this story, the things that were hidden and the suspense that was created and the possessiveness about it, yes, these are facts of life. And some people do abuse their power. And yes, we can say, okay, great performance in the scheme of life. Like, okay, we all do grow and change and go into the next phase in life and evolve, of course. But that doesn't mean that because a story began and, it was... I used to have someone that I knew would say something. He would say, exactly, okay. He would say, I was going to give you a gift, but it's the thought that counts. So he would show up with no gift, but he would actually tell you what he was doing. And it was very funny. It was a joke, right? But it's... And I feel like this masculine kind of had the same mindset. Like, it's the thought that counts. Because it's a saying, it's a thought that counts. When you try to play it out in reality, it doesn't quite equal the same results. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's funny in theory. But if you did that for real, as a joke, it's funny, but if you do it for real, then it's not so funny. So these masks that this person was wearing, they were not funny, They refuse to progress, and they prefer their 50 shades. They prefer to be in the dark. They prefer not to strengthen. And I guess that's what they're not understanding is what creates delays and stalling and waiting and roadblocks. So that's all, folks. This person might, think you're an alien or like mock you because you're so different. Or, it's just retaliative energies. Again, facts of life. They like the life of being in suspense and on the offensive, getting offended. But I don't think they'll never forget, but they will retreat. And now you could ask them, why are you surprised? And that's all, folks.